What's up, guys? It's Bruce Leroy. I want to do a response video to Barnone about his United States Incorporated video. First of all, thank you for doing that video. It was very long, very detailed. I can't say that I agree with it 100%, but I know you put a lot of effort into it. And I didn't expect a 99-minute response video. So obviously, you feel very passionate about the subject, and you have a lot to say about it. And you've done a lot of reading and research and all that other stuff. So appreciate that. Also, want to say that I apologize for not getting this video done earlier. I told him that I'd get a response video done over the weekend, and I just didn't get to it. I was building a dolly and spending time with my kids, and then I was kind of obsessed with my kid, not my kids, my kid and my wife and stuff. And I kind of got obsessed with my filmmaking project, so I spent a lot of time on that. But anyway, enough of the intro. So Barnone was talking about, just for those of you who aren't familiar with what I'm talking about, but Barnone was talking about the United States being a corporation, and how, we need to let people know about this, and that's how they, like I was in my lane, and we need to raise awareness of this, and we need to let people know that what the government's doing, and what all of their taxation and laws and everything are predicated upon. It's predicated upon a corporation. And so my response back to him was, what can we really do about it, number one? And number two, if the whole thing wasn't predicated upon a corporation, it would be predicated upon something else, like a flat-out dictatorship or something, because unfortunately human beings, they need leadership. In general, they do. And so, I might not need anybody to stand over my shoulder and make sure that I'm doing something, but there are a lot of people out there who just don't have any direction, who want somebody to take care of them, who want a group of people in Washington, D.C. or elsewhere to pass a bunch of laws to the rest of us, to make us take care of them. And you know how the whole socialism thing works, and majority rule, democracy, all that stuff. I think that's the era that human beings are in on this planet, and I don't think there's much we can do to escape that era. So that was kind of my argument. Also saying, just like the little details of the whole thing. If you try to opt out of the current program, you say, I'm not going to pay taxes, I'm not going to have a social security number, I'm not going to participate in normal society. You can do that, but it's going to be very hard. You're going to have to collect cash for everything for your business. A lot of people aren't going to want to pay you cash. They're going to want to pay by check. If they want to pay you by check, you have to set up a checking account. You need a social security number to do that. All tiny little things that you'd have to do in order to opt out of that. So Barnone basically responded, gave us a lot of detail as to what he's talking about, which I appreciate. And also, he kind of went back to this, if everyone is made aware of it, then possibly the human race can evolve out of this corporate structure, and pick themselves up by their own bootstraps, and become an individual-based society, perhaps anarchy, but an anarchy that works, one where everybody actually takes care of themselves, or perhaps some other form of government that is extremely limited and isn't able to tax you and do all these things that the corporation allows them to do. So one of the things I found interesting was that Barnone said that it's not like you can leave America and go to another country and escape the corporation. A lot of countries are based on corporations. That's what they use as a tool to pass laws to control you and to tax you. So obviously it's not anything as simple as just like, well, I'm going to leave America and go to this other country where it's not a corporation. Corporations are worldwide. And you're either going to run into a corporation or you're going to escape to a dictatorship, that's just straight up run like a prison, right? So, I still kind of have an attitude that is a little bit more based on realism, as far as I don't think it's going to change, but it could. But if it does change, I don't think it's going to change in the way that Mr. Barnone says it'll change. In other words, awareness will be raised. People will look at the situation and say, we don't need this. And, if people collectively just opt out of something, then the government's just not going to work. I totally understand that. So, I'm on a highway right now. I'm driving to work. If everybody on the highway, or even 50%, or even 10% of the people on the highway just decided, I'm going to stop in my tracks and I'm not going to move forward anymore, then the highway would come to a grinding halt, right? There's no question about it. Even if 10% of the cars did, it would be complete mayhem. It would take me, God knows, 12 hours to get to work instead of, 20 minutes to get to work. I'd probably have to get out of my car and walk if these people can't be budged. But the tough thing is getting that number of people to collectively do that, right? It's not just tough, it's nearly impossible. Even if you raise awareness and say, hey, work is bad and we shouldn't be driving to work and I need 10% of the people to stop their car, if you convince, if you try to convince people to do that, it's extremely difficult. People are going to find reasons to not agree with you, right? And people are going to find reasons to what Barnone says is the Stockholm Syndrome. Say, no, I like my captivity. I like this. I like being in a prison, or whatever illustration you want to draw, and say, I like this. Now, Barnone and other people who are like-minded think like that, and they say your captivity is a bad thing, and it's a disease that the human race has that we need to cure. But not everybody agrees with that. I just want you to understand that not everybody agrees with it. Now, if it's true, right? If we are all in a prison right now being forced to work and there is a better way, I think eventually the human race will evolve into that. Because, if you go back, 500 years ago, you would never think that we'd have the freedom that we have today, the technology that we have today, because we are more free today. And obviously we have better lives because of technology and the voice of the people is much stronger than it was back then. Much stronger. Public opinion really changes things. It really moves things. Public opinion causes presidents to walk out in front of a podium and apologize for something or change course for something. I think you brought up the war in Syria, or the war that could have been in Syria, how people are against it, and it's only public opinion that changed that. I actually believe that to be true, and I believe that the internet is a big part of that. And people who say that the internet's going to go away, or the internet's going to get shut down, or the internet's going to get extremely controlled a lot more than it is right now, I don't think that's correct. I think the government might try to control the internet to a degree, but I think that the internet is becoming its own thing. I think the internet, the internet is what a lot of the Bitcoin people look at Bitcoin as. They say, look, it's free, it's money that's outside of government control, and the government can try to control it, but they won't be able to, and if they control it over here, then it'll merge into something else over here, and the government will never be able to get their hands on it. I don't necessarily agree with that with Bitcoin, but I'm using that as an illustration to say that I think the internet will be like that. I think the internet is way too difficult to control completely, And I think that people are going to be able to voice their opinion, because right now people can voice their opinion out on the street. You know, I know we have free speech zones and stuff like that, but people can still get the word out, word of mouth, and just walking around and talking to people. The internet just speeds that up, right? The internet increases the velocity of information. That's exactly what it is. It's almost like hyperinflation of information is the internet. And so I think it could be controlled a little bit more, but I really don't think that the government's going to be able to completely control it. I mean, even if they try to shut a bunch of shit down, people will just open up servers and open up brand new search engines where you can do that kind of thing. So I think that the internet's here to stay, and I think the people's voice is here to stay, and I think the people's voice is going to get stronger. And lastly, before I make this video into a super long video, I think if there's a better way to live that's outside of a corporation or a government or something like that, that it won't grow out of this raised awareness and people will eventually come out of it. I think that if something like that happens and the human race evolves, I think it's going to be very fast, and I think it's going to be very violent. I think it's going to be with a revolution, and who knows what's going to trigger it, right? But I think that it would have to be a worldwide revolution, and it would be very bloody, and it would be very ugly, and the human race might not even survive through something like that. But if they do, they'll come out better. You know, I mean, think of what it took to make a country like America. Think of all the blood that was shed, you know, back in the 1700s, trying to get out from under the thumb of the British. And now people say that, you know, America has degraded, you know, because, you know, we're slowly becoming a socialist state and all that stuff, but we're still better than any other country in the world as far as freedom and all that stuff goes, in my opinion. Some people might differ with that, but so long story short, I think that humans can evolve out of it, but I think it'll be very it will not be a smooth transition. It'll be very bloody, very ugly. So anyway, I hope you appreciate this response like I appreciate yours, and I'll talk to you later.